Welcome to the Fit2 Talk podcast.
You just found the #1 health and fitness podcast for performers. Thank you for joining us as we bring you meaningful, helpful, and accurate information. And
remind you that fitness doesn't have to be boring.
Right now, you're listening to one of our talk episodes. We're doing which Bobby and I pretty much do this, and you get some lovely golden nuggets of coaching goodness at the end. And if you like what we do, then please leave us a review.
So I was just thinking about golden nuggets.
Yeah, it's like that cereal.
Golden nuggets.
Elite.
On that cereal note, cue the music.
It's Fit2 Talk. Do you remember the theme? There was like a good song that went with the golden nuggets.
No, I do not
cereal.
remember that, no.
Everyone I know remembers the Frosties theme song. If I start singing it,
sing it.
They're gonna taste great.
Oh yeah, yes. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. I'd forgotten that. That had actually fallen out of my mind.
The second it comes in, I can see the advert now. In fact, we watched it a few weeks ago as a bit of a joke with Maddie's family, and the guy doing the advert obviously got. I think he was a teenager, got paid quite a lot.
Yeah,
he got absolutely bullied for years afterwards because in the advert he's walking along to camera and he's going, "They're gonna taste great."
Oh yes,
they're gonna. His elbows are up really high, giving it that.
Elbows everywhere,
and I can hear the sound of Frosties hitting my plate. Why are they on a plate?
Yeah, why are they on a plate?
Where's your milk? It's on a plate. That's the real question.
It's just spilling out everywhere.
Shall we start off with a joke?
Yeah, please do.
It's low quality as always. We love a dad joke here, especially now you're actually a dad. So you are officially the judge of the dad jokes.
Yeah.
That worked out well.
I'm okay with it.
So what happened when the personal trainer brought a bear to the gym?
I'm enjoying your PT-based jokes. Yeah. I do not know.
We'll find out at the end of the episode.
Yes,
On an entirely different note. Right, this is wild. Have you heard of the trad wives thing that's going on?
Trad wives? What the hell is a trad wife?
I'm so happy you haven't heard about this because I'm about to blow your mind.
Okay.
So this is I don't even want to call it a social movement because it gives it a little bit too much. I don't even know what word I'm looking for here. So this is a concept of modern women wanting to return their lives to what they term as the traditional role of women in the household, which is essentially to not work, be at home, and the phrasing that pissed me off was serve their man, which already then you're like, okay, well, you're undoing decades of hundreds of years of feminism work here. But this thing originally started out as if my understanding is correct, I've done my best to sort of actually look into this properly, as a sort of fairly niche concept, just as a lifestyle choice for people who want to do that, in which case, fair dues. I would love it if you didn't call it serve your man, but if you wanted to not work and your duties and the responsibility in the relationship be take care of the house and the family and have that as your aspect, amazing.
Yeah,
like
you do what you want to do.
Cool, your choice. Respect that. But it's kind of turned into its own monster, and it's partially because of TikTok.
Of course, it's because of TikTok. Everything's because of TikTok.
It is, and it's become its own thing where it's like sort of for the look of it, that for young people, this is becoming like more and more appealing as an idea. And obviously this is, I think there was never a golden age. It's like when Trump says, "Make America Great Again." You go, when was America great?
Yeah, remind me of that exact moment.
Like, tell me when this was. Like, give me a year, and
we want to take it back to this exact year, and this exact date.
Because I'm like, look, again, as you said, free choice. Everybody's willing to, and within each relationship, everybody has different.
Of course,
different ideas of what could happen. But the idea that it's a responsibility or that you would be required to do that in any way is kind of horrifying to me.
It's weird that it's fashionable.
Weird.
I think that's what I find weird is that they've somehow made it like the new viral fashionable thing to do.
This is the thing. I wonder if society just swings in certain ways. Like perhaps the feel of some people on that political side of things is that it's gone too far the other way, and they want to sort of return. I wonder if there's always a group that want to return to something else. But I don't understand. Look, don't get me wrong. If I could be in a relationship where the other person earned loads of money and I could stay at home and I think the idea is better than the reality. I think the idea is that you'd go, I'd be able to go to classes and go to hot yoga with my friends. And then my kids would be at school all day. So I would be able to hire a cleaner and then just do what I want with my time. The reality is you have to have dinner on the table and you have no freedom and you don't have your own money.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with all these things on TikTok. Like everything is, the things that gain traction are the things that are so extreme.
Yeah.
That you're like, whoa, that's ridiculous. Or like, that's what gains traction. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Nothing on TikTok surprises me anymore. God, I feel like such an old man that I'm moaning about TikTok.
It's the dad.
It is the dad in me is now going, TikTok.
It's already coming out.
Lenny, you're never getting TikTok. TikTok will be done by the time he gets a phone.
Oh, God, yeah. I was chatting to a client of ours about this yesterday, going that there are sort of generations of which each social media platform has been their primary one.
Yeah.
And I realised that actually ours is Facebook.
Yeah, mine actually is probably MySpace.
But do you know what I mean? That we were the golden age of it.
Oh, the golden age of social media?
In our perception.
Fine.
Yeah, my perception would be that that Facebook was wonderful and useful at that time. Yeah,
there was a period where Facebook was really useful.
And don't get me wrong, I was there for the MySpace thing.
MySpace.
Music when you hit your homepage. Just legendary.
The most brutally slow loading web pages.
Yeah, and with your top 3 friends in order. Whose great idea was that?
MySpace was brutal, man.
It was not the one, but it was also fantastic now in hindsight. Yeah. And then you realise that you've got like the Instagram generation, which we're sort of borderline of, like we want to be a part of, but we're not really.
Yeah.
And then there was Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat. Snap is still going strong, man.
It is mainly because of drug deals.
Oh, fantastic! Good to know. I did not know that. So
supposedly,
cool.
From what you read, it's because
fantastic. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's brilliant.
Although WhatsApp is considered a social media.
Yeah, it is. It is,
which is messed up. Then there's Be Real, which had 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, Be Real. Forgot about that. Do you know one thing? Somebody mentioned this. One of our listeners mentioned this to me the other day. Tumblr. He said he was a big deal on Tumblr. And I was like, Tumblr was one of those that I never went near.
No, not me.
It's just one of those that I completely missed in the journey of the internet and social media. Tumblr just never entered my my sphere, my world. I don't even know to this day what Tumblr is. Isn't it like photos? Or what is it? It's photos?
I actually have no idea. I didn't do it either.
No.
We've skipped out Twitter.
Nobody cares about Twitter.
Twitter was like post-Facebook, pre-Instagram. It had about 3 years in my mind when it was like peak.
Do you know what was an elite social media platform for all of about 5 seconds? But basically is the reason like Instagram is so popular now.
What?
Vines.
Vine! Do you know what? Vine, didn't somebody buy Vine for an insane amount of money?
It was Instagram. I feel like it was Facebook.
Wasn't it prior to that though?
Hold on.
Somebody bought Vine.
Who bought Vine? Let's find out.
For like loads of money, and it just immediately crashed.
Vine was acquired by Twitter.
But before that?
Nope. Vine was acquired by Twitter.
Oh really? That was it?
It was founded in June 2012 and the company was acquired by Twitter in October 2012 for $30 million. I mean, that is a ramp up.
Oh my God. Wow, Fit2's not doing as well as we thought.
That's what? That is mad.
1 month.
That's mad. How did it? That's bonkers.
That is unreal. But
yeah, they were bought by Twitter for $30 million in 2012.
Now TikTok though, right?
Yeah.
If you could predict what the next one would be and you invested 10 grand in that thing, in stock, in whatever the next social media hit would be, you would make an insane amount of money.
Well, yeah, same with all these things though, like...
Stocks.
Stocks. Should have bought Apple all those years ago.
Do you know what? My whole life I've been a bit scared of the stock market, but recently we have both We've both
jumped
our
in.
toe in.
We went full hog.
Yeah. Buy full hog within our means.
I mean, also like it's just a stocks and shares ISA. It's just savings essentially, but with like the added fun of shares.
Yeah,
I still feel like I know nothing about shares. My mum was always very good at shares, so I feel like I should probably pick her brain, but.
If she gives you some advice, I
don't feel like she knows too much about tech. I feel like I only want to invest in tech because I love tech.
Yeah, I think there's something about that. You go, if you're a casual investor, then it just needs to be things that you care about. And actually, if you support those businesses in general in your life and you like their values, then why wouldn't you also invest in them?
Like the first thing that I bought was Apple stock because I was like, I love Apple, which obviously.
And then it did crash hard.
It did crash hard, but it has now returned. It's now higher. Yes. We've now made some.
You've made a bit of money.
Made a couple of pounds. So progress.
It is a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. It really is a roller coaster. Do you know what stock is a roller coaster at the moment? Tesla.
Oh, that's because he got that deal in China, didn't he? So it went up. And then he
fired everyone who worked on superchargers, so went back down. Honestly, it's bonkers.
It's amazing he's got away with stuff, because I was reading about him the other day that I'd forgotten this, that when he was nearly bankrupt, and Tesla was nearly bankrupt, they announced that solar panel. Do you remember?
No.
Oh my God, look into this. They announced in a full Apple style presentation with the press, a solar panel that had all these amazing qualities, and that shot the stock price back up, made him money, he reinvested and everything, saved the company. The product was fake.
Wow. He does all this kind of stuff all the time though. Like, do you remember when he was trying to buy Twitter and then he did a bunch of things and
then he ruined Twitter.
Yeah, and then he ruined Twitter and called it X.
X, that's such a... he's named his kids some strange things, hasn't he?
I think so, yeah. I don't actually know what they are.
Oh, I need to look it up because they are... love me the idea of, free will. You can name your kid what you want, but there's a point where it's abuse. I'm not saying his kids' names are, but there is a point. Do you know what I mean? If you called your kid Mamma Mia, I don't think that's a very helpful child's name.
First name Mama.
Mamma Mia. Here we go. So his first child is called Nevada. So just
fine.
Come on this journey with me. Nice.
Yeah,
right?
nice name.
He has 11 children.
He has 11 children.
Yeah. One of whom died in infancy, to be fair, which is very sad.
11 children.
11 children. These are the mothers. Okay, I want to see. So Nevada.
Yeah. We
have Griffin.
Fine. Just reminds me of Peter Griffin, but okay.
Yep, Griffin. Vivian.
Yep, fine.
Then we take a twist. We've got Kai, Saxon, and Damien.
Kai is quite I know quite a few Americans called Kai, so that's not
all three.
Saxon,
all three possible.
Yeah, fine.
Next, here's where we take a real left turn. X, the Roman numeral, space, the combined capital letters A and E, which is that Latin thing, then space, then A hyphen capital X Roman numerals II. So original X A12. He's changed their name.
He went for a wild departure there.
Yeah, it's not a... And here's the explanation of the name. This is a name.
I wonder what they call this child.
X, the unknown variable of two swords crossing.
Okay.
AE is the mother's, Grimes, elven spelling of AI, which is for love or artificial intelligence.
Of course, he's got...
Her elven spelling.
Oh, okay.
Not the elven spelling.
Hers.
Fine,
okay.
So it's made up.
Okay.
And A12, which is a precursor to SR-17, their favourite aircraft. No weapons, no defences, just speed. Great in battle, but non-violent. And then followed by A equals Archangel, her favourite song, and then Metal Rat. Yeah, so... And what?
Their favourite plane.
How do you say this person's name?
I imagine I'd called up my son iPhone 4 after my favourite iPhone.
Yeah, is it though?
The iPhone 4 is the best iPhone.
Really? I don't know if I had a 3.
4 was top tier.
Maybe I missed out. It doesn't end there though.
Okay, carry on.
I don't know if they just get a bit weird now. Azure, which is fine. Just the colour. Nice. Strider, which if that isn't a Lord of the Rings reference, I don't know what is. So already strange there. And then Exa Dark Sidereal. And Sidereal has another AE in it. And then Technomechanicus, a.k.a. Tau. Technomechanicus. Is he a robot? He's Technomechanicus. And then the next question on this website, this is comedy gold. In an interview with him, he was asked, "Why do you have so many kids?"
Fair.
He's been very vocal about the reasoning behind his large number of offspring. He tweeted in July 2022, "Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. A collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far."
Kidoki. I can't get over some of these names.
Oh, here we go. You actually, the name that was just a bunch of letters is nicknamed X. So you just say X.
So then I'm assuming the child came before the website.
Oh, God. He's named the website after his kid.
I don't know if that's worse. It's worse.
Oh, it's worse because it's such a bad thing name. The Sidereal is actually from Lord of the Rings.
Okay. I respect that choice.
As somebody who loves Lord of the Rings, I don't know. No, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm on board. Ooh. Strong. So,
strong. He's made some choices, and he's
rolling with it.
Yeah.
Well, what's your little one called, Bobby?
It's called Lennon.
Pretty cool name, right? Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that name.
When you told me you and Sam had decided on Lennon, I was like, damn, that's an epic name. Like, what a cool name.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird how we kind of came to it. We kind of always knew we wanted a name to do with like music. And we quite easily found a girl's name. But then the boy's name, we were like, we wanted to do something with music, and we really liked. It was at the point that the trailer for Maestro came out, which is the Bradley Cooper film about Leonard Bernstein. And the trailer came out, and like the first thing he says in it, he goes, "Hi, I'm Lenny." And we were like, yes.
It was meant to be.
Yes. And then we were like, we love the name Lenny. We didn't want to call him Leonard. So then we were like, how could we like take it there? And we were like, Lennon. And then we kind of settled there. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we got to it. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love it.
I think Leonard makes me think of Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, me too. Which I wouldn't have wanted. That would have been in my head the whole time as Big Bang Theory.
It's almost too current. Not that it's on anymore, but like for people our age, it's like feels very modern, even though it isn't now.
It's not at all now.
But still, there's Lennon's cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
he's going to be cool.
Yeah, he will be cool. He will be cool. He's got some good like side eye, like rolling his eyes kind of situation going on. Just taken after his dad. So
I've never seen you do that.
Never.
It's because I'm never looking at you.
I don't ever roll my eyes. Ever.
Let's see how much you roll your eyes during this. Okay, so one of the things, the coaching topic.
Yes.
For today, should we jump in?
Yeah.
Or when do we do your fact?
We do my fact now.
Let's do the fact.
Let's do the fact. It's a nice quick one.
Bobby's fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. Football teams wearing red kits play better. The colour of your clothes can affect how you're perceived by others and change how you feel. A review of football matches in the last 55 years showed that teams wearing a red kit constantly play better in home matches than teams in any other colour.
There's so many questions about that as a study, but I love it. So I'm not even going to go into it.
Yeah.
Like, do more teams in higher divisions have red as their color? Do you mean like, what did you study?
Yeah. I suppose there's lots you can look into that, but I think it's just interesting
especially if you were
as a loose concept
studying in the 90s and you were studying the Premier League when you're like, well, there's, 3 main teams with red and that were right at the top or reddish.
But then you go, okay, that kind of backs up their theory.
Well, then it's cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's...
Yeah, which came first?
I feel like with that, it's tricky. It's tricky.
It is tricky.
Although there is a nerdy thing that I'll remind you about afterwards about this, that, red makes you go faster. So let me come back to that off air because it's so nerdy that it's painful.
I love it.
So let's go into the coaching topic.
Let's do it.
It's probably the title of the episode.
Yes, it will be.
Dial in your diet.
Ring, banana phone.
Dial. Yes, to dial in your diet. So today's task is to give listeners some epic tips to feel in control of their eating habits, whatever their target is, which is always tricky to be general.
Yeah.
Obviously, our job usually is to coach people quite very, very specifically. So to be able to give tips that are really, really useful to everybody listening. And people think that the gym is the tough part about any process. And actually, usually they're wrong.
Yes, I would say by and large that is the case.
Right. People think that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the effort to get up and go and do that session. Okay, but that's three efforts a week, maybe.
Yeah.
You're like, you might manage 2. Well, you've done 66% of the work. However, nutrition involves making countless micro decisions across every single day. That is like a persistent thing. It feels like, especially if you've got cravings or you're feeling hungry, it feels like you might be a small wall facing a dam, facing a huge tide of water. And they usually... you're facing off against habits that you've built up over several years too. So they can be very, very strong neural pathways, and we want to change those. So let's dive in, and I'm going to give people some tips and reminders to course correct and send all the listeners off in the right direction. So I'll fire through these so that people don't get insanely bored. The first, I've tried to make it as interesting as possible.
Yeah, good.
Nutrition's always tricky, but
it is.
The first of these, and we talk about this all the time, is making gradual changes, right? So instead of making drastic changes overnight and replacing your diet and going, right, I'm not eating carbs at all.
As your own separate thing.
Gradually transition into your new nutrition plan with small, incremental, sustainable adjustments, right? Replacing one thing with something else is a great first step. Or going, let me try and eat more protein. Job done. Usually for us, with our clients, we'll focus on overall intake.
Yeah.
You'll go, don't change anything about your diet. Leave it as it is. Just let's see if we can get the amount to where it needs to be. If it needs to be higher, let's see if we can eat a bit more. And if it's lower, let's see. And then we can next steps from there.
And that can sometimes be a battle for us to try and say that to our clients, to go, hey, you don't need to change everything. And people kind of initially go, oh yeah, I want to change everything about my diet. No, you go, no, okay.
Yeah.
Take a moment. You don't need to change everything. Make small changes. Like, you want to change your habits. So that's a difficult, I think that's probably the hardest concept to get your head around.
Yeah, let's nail down why, right? I think you're bang on with the habits. Can you change everything? Yes. Do you have the capacity to? Yes. That is when you've got the motivation. Absolutely. And you're going, I could do more. But the outcome is that you will stop.
Yeah.
So you won't have built a habit, like you've said. You've tried to wholesale replace all of the habits that you had. And eventually that dam is going to break.
Yeah.
And they will all return and you'll wash out everything else. If you do it piece by piece, then we can build a really, really lovely foundation. So, number 2, focus on whole foods. I know you've just recently done a more in-depth thing about this with our clients.
Indeed.
But it's such a no-brainer tip for your diet, especially if you're somebody who has struggled with eating disorders in the past or doesn't really want to get into things like calorie counting, then focusing on your protein intake and just trying to take in whole foods as 2 positive things. Let me get more protein and let me focus on whole foods rather than processed foods. It's going to make a huge difference. Fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, healthy fats, all that kind of stuff. The nutrient dense provide essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants for overall health. Brain just cracking out stuff. You'll feel fuller and they're easier to digest. So they're generally the version of food that is best for your body.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, particularly if you don't want to do tracking, this is the best way to approach things.
Yeah. And alongside that, the next one is, of course, portion control.
Yeah.
This is the first one that almost feels like try not to do something. We always usually try and say, try to do this, rather than try and avoid this. So rather than say, don't go overboard on your portions, it's better to frame it like, let me fill up to a certain point. So if you're trying to lose weight, it's an old trick, right, from the 90s, but use a smaller plate. So measure serving sizes before you cook. Don't measure them afterwards and see that there's half left in the pan, because you're probably going to go back to the pan and have some more.
100%.
So cook a little bit less, and then you remove that option for yourself. And trying to listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues to avoid overeating, right? Different tactics, right, for different people here. So everything from simple mindful eating to hand portion control sizes, which we love, especially for the same people we mentioned before. And this is equally true for people trying to build muscle or put on weight. Can be really, really tricky when you go, oh God, I'm eating 1,000 calories too few. You go, that ain't easy to suddenly add into your diet. Like,
no,
that is going to be rough. It's worth mentioning coffee, one of our favorites.
Big fan.
Satiating, of course. So it helps. That means it helps you feel full.
Yep.
So if you are trying to lose fat or weight in some way, then coffee might be a little bit helpful. Please don't rely on it. But if you are trying to bulk and build muscle, coffee might not actually help you, especially if you're struggling to eat what you need to. Tip number 4, balanced meals, right? Include a balance of micronutrients in every meal. Breakfast is usually the one people suck at, which means if you get to lunch and you haven't had any protein, you're probably going to struggle that day to get your protein in. So simple as possible. Try and achieve balance. Number 5, variety is key. Oh. Love me some variety. It's not the royal variety, but it'll have to do. Okay, different fruits, different vegetables, different proteins, different ways of getting things in. Otherwise, again, if you go, right, I'm just going to have chicken and veg.
It's the classic thing. If you have chicken and broccoli people go, oh yeah, I'm just going to have chicken and broccoli.
For how long?
Like a bodybuilder. And you go, again, how sustainable is that? How long do you realistically think you can live off chicken and broccoli?
Yeah.
Like,
are you ever going to go for a meal with your friends again?
Yeah. Where's the joy in that?
And don't get me wrong, there are people who have the willpower to do that and the drive, but actually that is its own issue. So it's that to us as nutrition coaches is not something that we would advise or even think people should aim for. So number 6, staying hydrated. We love this. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day obviously helps you to stay hydrated. Yep. You actually get about 20% of your water intake from food in the day too, but most people are way under what they need. Most performers too, physically very active. So we're looking at an athlete's recommendation of water, right? 2.7 litres a day for women, 3.7 for men. That doesn't take into account vocal use. So the madness of this all is that you might need to be above 3 or 4 litres for females and males genetically in order to be adequately hydrated. That's just adequately hydrated either as well. So
it's tough. And there is another coaching corner coming about hydration soon, but particularly hydration for peak performance. Like, you have to be hydrated ahead of time. Yeah. This is something that constantly kind of comes up, that people just go, oh, I need to be hydrated right now
for this audition.
And
I'm going into.
You're already too late.
About 4 hours too late. Usually,
you're too late. So just my top tip always with hydration is the first thing you do when you wake up, drink a glass of water.
Yeah,
bang in.
Yeah, we love that. I do the same. We actually had that. If you're thinking about vocal stuff, we have an episode with Gemma Maddock, who is an amazing, amazing voice coach. Go back and listen to that. She mentions a bunch of this stuff about water and how physical exercise affects your voice or not. Number 7, plan and prepare meals. This does not mean that you have to bulk meal prep, although it is cost effective and useful. And if you don't like eating the same thing 4 days in a row, freeze them. Winner. Take the time to plan and prepare what you're going to eat to avoid relying on you making snap decisions, especially if you have a habit of making poor decisions in the moment. I have a habit of making terrible decisions in the moment. If you let me choose and I could have a Chinese takeaway or go to the shop and buy some lovely veg and take, most of the time my brain is going to go for the Chinese takeaway. So I can't give myself that option. I have to prepare in advance. Not everybody's like that, but I need it. But believe me when we say that nobody wants to do this, it's not like nobody's like, oh yay, I want to sit down and think about what food I'm going to eat next week. But it reduces your cooking time, makes sure you get a lovely balanced diet, saves you money, and keeps you working towards your goal.
Win, win, win.
No brainer. Number 8. So seek support, right? Our clients are lucky enough to have us as their coaches. Not lucky enough, smart enough. But also, ask people around you. You can ask your family and friends to help keep you accountable and support you along that thing, your partner, whatever it might be, specifically to go, look, I'm trying to achieve this. Will you please help me?
Yeah, I think that's often kind of one of the biggest barriers, I think, is if you're in a relationship, or if you live with people, if you have housemates, that kind of thing, trying to, if maybe they're not on the same path as you, or they have kind of like not a different agenda, but a different kind of idea of what they want to do nutrition-wise, that can be conflicting. It can be difficult to kind of negotiate. So you're right, like speak to your partner, speak to your friends, housemates, and just be like, hey, this is where I'm at. Please help me on this journey.
Yeah, if you're willing to.
Yeah, if you're willing to. And like if you say it to them, then you're going to be in a better position. And it's much easier when other people are on board around you.
And it's worth noting that sometimes people bettering themselves can make the people around them uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And it's not a conscious thing. They're not being mean. But if they see you trying to eat slightly more optimally, because it tends to make them feel bad about their choices. It's the same as when you don't drink. People start to go, well, I'm drinking, you should be drinking. And I've got you a drink. Yeah. I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't want a drink. Like it'll end up with them going, I'm getting a Domino's. Do you want one? Mm-hmm. You're like, that's actually partially a kind thing, but I have asked you to help me not to do this.
Yeah.
So actually, what is that about? Like, and then you can have those conversations where, again, it's not attacking. You go, oh, you miss eating the same food as me. Great. Well, let's find an alternative that we can order from, that you take joy from, and you can order what you like, and that there's something for me. There's always ways. So that covers the entire thing. So our primary tip is, remember that consistency is key when it comes to adhering to a new diet, and then focus on making those sustainable changes that you can maintain over time.
Absolutely. And you know what? One big thing for me that I always like to speak to clients about is, if you slip up, it's not the end of the world. Like, one slip up doesn't mean it's all gone to hell. Like, it doesn't have to mean that you go, oh, I'm completely done now. Like, these things happen. Like, you're going to. And actually, it's not really a slip up. It's just part of life, and it's part of living this way. So, yeah, embrace it. Don't be hard on yourself. Enjoy the journey. Like, just dial in that nutrition where you can. Follow the 80-20 principle that we always talk about. Yeah,
I can't wait until we do on the podcast, we cover the ultimate standards builder for people, because I think that the way of managing the guilt of that people feel like they're on a roll and they have to achieve this thing, and then the second they don't, it kind of all falls apart and breaks. Yeah. Being able to navigate that and know that you have a strategy in place of going, oh no, I'm doing good. Like, it's a game changer for the majority of people who come through Fit2 Perform.
Yeah.
The clients that come in and really struggle with that suddenly go, oh, I can still, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And it's glorious.
It's so cool to see. Like, yeah, that guilt thing is a real thing. And
it's nasty.
Yeah. If you've got some tactics to get past it, then you're onto a win. And we've got those tactics.
Your tactics. That's basically our job. We're basically highly specialized problem solvers, right?
Yeah. That's what we do.
Strategy builders, coaches, problem solvers, call us what you like. So, do you want to hear the rest of the joke?
Please.
On a lighter topic than dialing in your diet.
Dial.
What happened when the personal trainer brought a bear to the gym?
I don't know.
Their clients got ripped to shreds.
Nice.
I would make a bear noise if I could. Go on.
No, I was trying to think what they sound like.
I'm like,
yeah.
Do they roar?
No, I can't even picture the sound.
If you're listening to this and you can do a bear noise, please send it our way.
It's like that kid on TikTok. Okay, I'm going back to TikTok.
That kid who
can do like a lion.
The lion?
Oh, yeah, there's this girl who does a lion that sounds unbelievable.
Isn't it meant to be physically impossible for our vocal cords to replicate the sound of a lion's roar?
It's honestly bonkers. This child can sound like a lion.
I refuse to believe it's not edited.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
The instant cynic came out.
Believe everything you see on TikTok. No, don't. Please don't.
I'm going to create a new Instagram account called The Instant Cynic.
Yeah, fine.
Any piece of information I'm giving, I'm like, that's true.
Let me look at that.
I do feel like it's quite helpful, especially when we promise to deliver people with meaningful, helpful, and accurate information, that anything I'm told, I'm like,
Are you sure?
Oh no! You just have to dial it back sometimes, depending on what company you're in.
When you're in public,
yeah, like you're with people, you're like, I have to go. I'll look that up another time.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was with Maddie's family after the marathon that they did, and I was saying, I need to buy new Converse. These are a bit old, and they were chatting about Converse and saying that. I said, I can't remember what they were talking about, what they were good for or something, and I said, well. Originally they were like, why would you wear Converse for the gym? And I was like, well, they were originally a basketball shoe. And they were like, it was a baseball shoe.
No, it was basketball
and
shoe.
I was like, but it was, I'm pretty sure it was basketball. It was Chuck Taylor. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
And I was outnumbered, and I didn't want to be the guy that got my phone out to go, I know I'm right.
I'm certain I'm right
about this. But I was like, at the same time, I was like, I know I'm right.
Yeah.
So I just had to be like, I guess it was baseball. And then later on be like,
I'm proud of you that you managed to not.
It was painful for me. Can you tell it's still bothering me now,
trauma.
a month on. Listen, look, if you like our information, then head to our website, fit-2.co.uk, and then click on our resources. Okay, we have a special promotion that's going on right now, and it won't be going on much longer, actually. Because you're a listener, you can download our How to Lose Fat in 3 Steps guide absolutely free with this code, Fit2 Talk. It's all capitals, Fit, the number 2, Talk. No spaces, just the words. Fit2 Talk. And yes, usually paid, obviously, but absolutely free for you with that code.
Winner, chicken dinner. And you can find us on social media at Fit2Perform West End. Leave us a sexy old review on here. Do it. And as always, if you've got any questions you want answered, you know what to do. Slip slide into those DMs. I'll be in there with Elon Musk.
Thank you for joining us. And if you like what we do, then we have been Fit2 Talk with me, Steffan.
And me, Bobby. And if you didn't like it, we've been Joe Wicks. Peace out.